I put this together for chiropractors. This is mainly geared toward chiropractors, but this is what I have found to be the top 12 wealth strategies. This is what I found. If you put your focus, time, and energy in these categories, this is what will give you the greatest amount of passive income and net worth the fastest. So the 12 strategies are the easiest, fastest way to create passive income and wealth. Remember, the number one reason people do not become wealthy is lack of discipline. It is not income. Freedom lifestyle, because time builds. Time with real estate, time with investments builds wealth. People don't invest. They don't invest in themselves. They don't invest in real estate. They keep buying, buying, buying. So freedom lifestyle is when your passive income exceeds your fixed expenses. So here it is, the number one skill set that will increase your money the fastest is patient retention. I routinely take clients coming in and increase their business over $100,000 in 90 days. Well, how much money would you have needed in the bank to do that? How much money would you have had to have made to have $100,000 coming in? $8 million. You'd have $8 million at 50% overhead at 4, 50% taxes to have $2 million at 5% or 2.5 to 5% interest rate to have $100,000. Well, that typically happens with my clients in 90 days with patient retention. Several clients in here that's already happened to. So that's the fastest way. That's why we start there. Number 2, educational sales for new patient marketing. And it's a skill set. And the reason you have to learn educational sales as a chiropractor is because we only have 8% utilization. So publicity and advertising only attracts the 8%. The 92% that's not looking for a chiropractor, advertising and publicity will not work. You have to know educational sales. And that's how I was able to open 77 offices in 20 states. It wasn't because of 8% utilization. I don't know if you guys know this. Several of the offices that I opened, the chiropractors had already opened them and went bankrupt and failed. We shut them down. I brought them into my office to train them for 6 months, and I put them right back in the exact same office. We just paid their rent and everything because I knew it was a skill problem. It wasn't a location problem. But most chiropractors don't know that. They think it's a location problem. And we put them right back in that exact same office for different results. So you have to learn educational sales to attract the 92%. It has to be a skill set. You can't just know about it. So that's why we put so much emphasis on educational sales. That's where all the new patients are from. That's where you get that's where the massive new patients are, the 92%, not that piddly 8%. Number 3, that is the next problem that I found. Management and human resources skills. That becomes the next inhibiting problem with chiropractors. After they know how to keep patients and get them, now they're terrible at managing, and that becomes the problem. And that's actually 2. Motivation. Their income goes up, their money goes up, their motivation goes down, and they have bad management skills. That creates a big problem. That creates a big problem. Hold one second. The next one is personal injury attorney educational sales. That's a skill set again. They're not looking for you. These personal injury attorneys are not looking for you, so you have to know educational sales, number 1. And it's the single most lucrative marketing knowledge you can know in chiropractic. It's the biggest amount of money for the least amount of time. It's worth having that skill set. But it's educational sales. You have to know educational sales. And to give you a couple examples, we got several guys in here that have increased their business over $1 million in 12 months. Just from personal injury attorney educational sales. That was it. Next one is how to hire and train associate doctors. That's a skill set. Well, I showed you earlier, if you know how to hire and train associate doctors, we can get an associate doctor up to 80, easily up to 80 visits in 90 days. Well, if you split it 50-50, that's a passive 6-figure income. How much money would it have taken you to make a passive 6-figure income? $8 million. These are the strategies. These are the exact strategies I used to retire at age 33. Number 6, buy your home, don't rent. Buy your home, don't rent. When you rent, you're not getting the assets, you're not getting the accumulation, you got to pay taxes on the rent. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why you don't want to rent. The number one reason you don't want to rent is it overcomes the number one reason you won't get wealthy, which is lack of discipline. You're forced to pay for your survival. So the very first thing you want to do with real estate is make sure you buy your own home, because you're going to pay for that home wherever you're at. So make it yours instead of getting somebody else rich. Make that equity go into your pocket instead of somebody else's pocket. Number 7, buy your office. What's the reason? Don't rent. It overcomes lack of discipline. You're going to be in an office anyway. You're going to be shelling out that mortgage every month. Why not put it into your pocket and somebody else's? That's the second piece of real estate you should be getting, your own office. Because you're spending that money anyway. Make it worth it. Make it go for you instead of somebody else. Number 8, fully fund your retirement account. Why? Because it's 100% tax-free. What's the problem with that? People typically don't do that because of why? Lack of discipline. Not because they don't have money. It's lack of discipline. What's the only way? It's automated. It has to be automated to overcome the lack of discipline. Lack of discipline is the problem that stops wealth, not money. Hire and train your associate doctor. It's the easiest source of passive income. The easiest source of passive income is having a well-trained associate doctor. And the way we do it, we make it very advantageous, the way I train it. Our associate doctor is going to make as much or more working for us than in somebody that's after they've trained. So we'll put the time in, and that we want some return on that first. But after that, they're going to get a deal that's going to be better than them going out on their own and paying 50 or 70% in overhead, managing all the staff, hiring all the staff, and not being able to take a vacation. Well, that's not going to happen with our associate doctors. They're going to make as much or more. They're not going to have to deal with all the management and hiring issues, and they're going to be able to take time off. And when they take time off, unlike us, if we don't have an associate doctor, we don't get paid. The associate doctor gets paid because whoever the doctor is, they treat them. Just like when the doctor leaves, the associate doctor treats, and they get paid. So you're still making money. So we make it a win-win situation. So hire and train your associate doctor. My associate doctor's made a 6-figure income. Did I care? No, I wasn't in that office. I made a passive 6-figure income, and I wasn't even in that office. Guess how long I wanted them to make a 6-figure income? As long as possible. Buy real estate in your retirement account. That's number 10. And the main reason there is it's going to be tax-free. That passive income and all that's going to be tax-free. It's going to be the single best thing you're going to do from an investment standpoint. You not only have all the categories of real estate, but now you have it in a tax-free category when you get it. Number 11, asset protection. No assets in your name. So you're going to have to protect yourself as you build your wealth. And number 12, tax-deductible lifestyle. You have to learn about tax deductions. To learn how to use the law, do it legally, to minimize your tax liability. Because it's the single greatest cost you're going to have in your life. It's going to be greater than overhead, greater than anything. You're in a 50% plus tax bracket. Those are the 12 strategies I used to become a millionaire at age 33 and retire. And that's where I tell all my clients. I said, that's where you should focus. Don't get distracted on all this other crap. Learn this. Go from one step to the next. And it just keeps elevating, gets bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, you don't have to work. And now it's fun. You can come and go. You're calling the shots. And if something, like I said before, something happens in your office over here, it's not as big of a sweat when you have 1 or 2 associate doctors of passive income. Maybe you have another 1 or 2 offices, and maybe you have 3, 4, or 5 pieces of real estate. Then that little thing that happened in your office isn't that big of a thing after all. Or that big thing isn't that big of a thing after all. And you just start relaxing a lot more. It gets a lot more fun. So those are the 12 categories that, and of course that's what I teach. That's what I teach with my clients. These are the chiropractor's top 5 ways to make the most money the fastest. This is from my personal experience. Patient retention is number 1. Educational sales is number 2. Management human resources, personal injury attorney educational sales, how to hire and train associate doctors. Those steps right there, in that order, is the fastest way to make the most money the fastest. Right in that order, right there. I wouldn't be going everywhere else. I wouldn't be chasing everything else. These are the top 7 skill sets that I found that you need to do this. Patient retention, educational sales for the new patient marketing, how to hire and train and manage staff. Chiropractors are terrible at management. Personal injury attorney educational sales. That's a skill. It doesn't happen accidentally. How to hire and train and manage associate doctor. You know, that was a skill. I had to learn how to do that. Fortunately, after you learn, you know, the first one, second and third ones are very easy. But that first one that's a learning curve, I will tell you. How to buy demand real estate. Top 7 skill set. That's the skill set right there. That's where I'd be spending my time and energy if you're looking for passive income and wealth. And really when we say passive income and wealth, what are we talking about? We're talking about quality of life. We're talking about freedom, security, passive income. That's what it is. We're talking about quality of life.